The testing glitch is affecting schools across the state, including Tulsa Public Schools. Joined tonight by Dr. Keith Ballard, Superintendent for Tulsa Public Schools. Dr. Ballard, what's your reaction to the problems today?
Well, first and foremost, this is about students. Students who are prepared, students who are, psyched up for this, students who eat a good breakfast. And so that's first and foremost what was on my mind. But, let me remind everyone that this is the same company a year ago that we had the same issues with. And Superintendent Barisi awarded a $35 million contract to them. So, it's good that she's outraged over what has happened, but, we had the patterns from last year. Why were they awarded another contract? Why were they just given a slap on the wrist? I just don't think we can get away from that issue. And now we have, the other issue of what are we going to do with the tests that were missed today? Are we going to start back in with this? We have an obligation to these students. We have an obligation to these students to ensure that the testing company wins, because Superintendent Barisi has created an environment that is really, dependent upon the assessment because of the high stakes with these tests. Kids that might have failed today's test could not graduate from high school because of it. That could be a result of this. So it's really a very difficult and dangerous situation for the futures of our kids.
Obviously, we're going to just try to get through this year, but what do you recommend that we do for next year? Do something completely different?
I sure think we ought to take a hard look at testing vendors. Yes, to answer your question, I think we ought to do something different. I think we ought to look at a more simplified testing program. I think we ought to remove some of the stakes that are there for students. I'm all for assessment. We need assessment at Tulsa Public Schools. We need that data, but it didn't have to become as complicated as it is. So I think we need to take a hard look at it. Let's use school people. Let's ask teachers, let's ask administrators, let's ask data specialists, IT specialists, what will work? I mean, this is a problem with third grade testing. This is a problem with the flawed A through F that has been instituted. Yes, we all need to step back and take a look at the testing program that has been created over the last 3 years in the state of Oklahoma, and we do need to do something different.
Dr. Keith Ballard, we'll leave it there tonight. Thanks for joining us tonight. Well, our coverage continues online and our 2 News mobile app. Look for much more on today's school testing troubles on our website, kjrh.com.